Well, running alongside the summit at Bletchley is the Hopes and Fears Lab event in London, which brings together scientists and the public to discuss the implications of AI.
Earlier, I spoke to University of Cambridge Professor Neil Lawrence from the event. He spoke about his concerns that more people aren't involved in conversations about what the future could hold.
So I think the interesting thing is what people feel about artificial intelligence. I'm very worried that the summit is the wrong conversation, that it's a conversation being held between tech executives and leaders of government, whereas what we really should be interested in is how artificial intelligence will affect regular people.
I think it's a really important conversation to have. I know you're not alone in having concerns. I think most of us actually have questions about how much power just a few companies may have. My 11-year-old child yesterday asked me, what's the worst that could happen regarding to AI? Is that something that you're looking at, a worst-case scenario?
If you look at worst-case scenarios, which I think are basically of the form of, as you're saying, there are very few companies that are controlling this technology. So that's leading to power asymmetries between those companies and how we hold them accountable and members of the public. Now, when you hear about the worst case scenarios, people are talking about, well, what happens if these technologies, which are automatic decision-making technologies, are combined with such power asymmetries, and what would be the outcome of that? And then you get into sort of 1980s Terminator movie scenarios. But the real challenge we face is those power asymmetries already exist, and the type of power that social media companies hold and the potential damage that that's doing to our young people in terms of mental health. And I think we need a lot more focus on those challenges, which are the things that a lot of companies are resisting regulation, rather than talking about sort of future imaginary risks that would only come about through these companies gaining more and more power and deploying more of this technology without regulation.
Do we just need to accept that our lives are going to be changed by it, and it's going to take a shift in how we live?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the key points, and one of my other deep worries is that the peoples whose lives will be most changed are not the ones around the table. So, as with any generation of technology that affects the way we live, going all the way back to the Industrial Revolution, we tend to find it's often people on the margins of society who are most disrupted by these technologies and have the fewest choices about how they choose to respond. Yet it's always the professional classes that are in the rooms together, the lawyers and the accountants and the politicians who are highly educated and much more capable of adapting to these technologies that are making the decisions. And we've seen that with every wave of automation, that we just don't have the people who are going to be most affected around the table. And I think that we do nowadays have the technology capabilities and understanding of societal change to try and address that and bring those people into the room.